Hey, buddy, welcome back to Yanks the Cop. We are going to be previewing the post-match of Liverpool versus Burnley, giving our match analysis. Liverpool won 2-0, picked up another great win to start the season, the second win in a row. How are you doing, Sophie?
I'm brilliant. I'm good. Made up another win in the bank, another clean sheet. Happy days.
Good. Yeah, it's been a great weekend for Liverpool so far. Also, with United dropping points, can't ask for a better weekend. And Everton as well.
You know what, right? I said that United were going to drop points to Southampton. I actually thought Southampton would sneak a win and would beat them, but you know what? Taking 2 points off them is enough for me. What wasn't?
I should have won Southampton because that Armstrong should have scored his chance.
Yeah.
But oh well. Yeah, so everyone, everyone who's watching, welcome. Do remember to smash that like and subscribe button. We appreciate it. So going into the game, Sophie, how are you feeling? I know we spoke about this on the Friday's preview, and we spoke about Burnley's record against Liverpool and how we shouldn't fear them, because you were at the game. So how were you feeling at the game? What was it like being in that stadium, a packed Anfield crowd? Explain it to everyone who wasn't there.
Oh my god, it was incredible. It was so nice being back, and I went to the preseason game, and that was nice to be back at Anfield. But being back with a full capacity stadium, it's incompatible. You can't describe that feeling. Got straight into the stadium, and as I walked to my seat, I was up in the main stand, and I'd bird's eye view of the pitch, and I remember I was just sitting there thinking, I can't wait for this game. Normally Burnley at a 12:30 fixture at kickoff is something that I'm sat there going, I hate this fixture. I am dreading it. I don't want to play it. But there didn't seem any nervous energy around the stadium at all. Everyone was really buzzing, and you could hear people chatting about the lineup and going, oh, that's a really attacking team. That's that. It was just dead positive around the stadium. And then when the players came out and that, you could just feel everyone's excitement and how happy everyone was that it was back. And if anybody was sat there with doubts, the minute those lads came out and we all sang "You'll Never Walk Alone," every doubt was silenced. That you kind of knew that the minute "You'll Never Walk Alone" finished, that it was just we were going to win it. I didn't know how we were going to win it. You just knew you were. You can't describe it. It was just fantastic. Honestly, it was boss. Can't wait to go back in a couple of weeks.
So what was it? Obviously I saw there's still lots of fans that were still queuing up when the game, when the match is about to start. I know we've discussed that before, but is it getting better in terms of them getting into the stands? Is it getting worse?
Look, twice I've used the NFC pass now, and twice I've not had a problem with it. The first time kickoff was at 4. I was in the stage. We started queuing up at 3. And I was in the stadium within 20 minutes in the car. So the first time I had no problem. As long as you had your pass up ready, you scanned it and you went in. That was it. And I understand that fans have got their match day rituals, their schedule that they stick to, that they have done for years and years. But for me, this is a new system. It's something that is obviously going to have, hiccups. It's obviously going to have problems with it. I'd always err on the side of caution and maybe get there a little bit earlier, leave the pub a little bit earlier, leave the chippy a little bit earlier, or even just get there a bit earlier than normal. And I know the club put out a suggested time of that stand going at this time, half an hour here, half an hour there, to try and limit the queues. Didn't listen to that. And my friend was in the cop and I was in main stand, obviously, and we both went in together. And I think it was about 11:15 when we got there. So I went straight up, and as I was going in through W 1 to 3, and there was literally 2 people in front of me. Don't on that. I've had a proper battle with people over that last few days. But there were 2 or 3 people in front of me, and I was straight up the stairs, got myself a drink, got myself something to eat, went and sat in my seat and watched all the teams warm up, because as I got there, Burnley came out to warm up. So I got to see all of that. So that, for me, I have not had an issue with it. But I understand that a lot of fans have, and they've gone to the gate and they've had their pass ready and the pass hasn't worked for what reason or another. And the queues, some of them were down by Trent Muriel, which it's not good enough. That's not acceptable, like for a club of our magnitude, that we can't get this ticketing process right. But again, some people started queuing up. And I'm not blaming the fans. It's obviously the system's problem because something's got to give. You should be able to get in quick with it, no matter what time you get there. But for me, if you're going to queue up kickoffs at 12:30 and you're going to queue up at 12:10, first home game of the season after 18 months away, that for me doesn't make sense. Why would you risk going in 20 minutes before kickoff? There's obviously going to be massive queues at that point, but personally, I haven't had an issue with it. I found it quite easy to get in, to be honest with you.
Well, like Chris says, at least Man City had so many empty seats, and even Arsenal today, there were quite a few empty seats. So it's a bit shocking that it's the beginning of the season, these teams are struggling to fill the stadiums.
I know.
So at least we are filling in. But going to the game, so obviously we saw the lineup. We spoke on Friday. Realistically, obviously Jack mentioned Elliott starting, so he was right. Elliott starting, and obviously Milner took a knock. Maybe Milner had been fit, would Jack have started? Who knows? But yeah, the lineup was very.
Jack have started.
I was reading Jack and the Beanstalk to my nephew that morning. That's how I got confused. I was thinking Jack, no, it's Harvey. So when we saw the lineup, it was a very attacking one in terms of the midfield he put out there. Obviously Henderson with Naby and Harvey by sides him. Obviously the usual back four keeper, and obviously he started Jota over Bobby. So I thought in the first, when you first saw that lineup, were you confident in that lineup, or did you think that that's a bit too attacking in terms of the midfield he's put out there?
Nah. I think that midfield for me was needed. I think it was really necessary. I knew Hendo was going to start. As long as he was fit enough, I knew he was going to start because we needed that captain, and you saw it. You felt it throughout the game, like in the stadium, you could hear him screaming at the players to get their heads in the game, to get back in their positions and do it properly. So I knew he was going to start. When I saw Harvey Elliott on there, I was absolutely buzzed because I just thought, there's that attack and press. Because I said to you, didn't I, we needed that balance in midfield for that game. It needed to be the right balance between defending, holding and attacking. And I think the midfield was. And Harvey Elliott was the driving force of that midfield for me. He was everywhere. I don't know about what it was like watching him on TV, but watching him, you couldn't take your eyes off him. He was everywhere. You blinked and he was up at the front. You blinked, he was, in defence. You blinked, he was in midfield. He was on the right side. He was on the left side. He was incredible. And I couldn't fault the midfield. I couldn't actually fault the team as a whole team effort. I quite liked the lineup, and I was happy that Jota had started over Bobby because, like I said, Jota for me was going to cut through their banks. He was going to find those holes and expose them, and then Bobby would come on and would start feeding through the holes that he's made, and that's what happened. So personally, I was quite happy with the lineup, to be fair. I didn't think it was overly attacking or not like that. I thought it was a balanced midfield that was going to turn Burnley over, which it did for me, but you might have a different opinion. Probably do have a different opinion.
No. When I saw the lineup, I thought that's a big show of confidence to Harvey to see if he can stand up, and he did stand up, and he did play a very good game. I mean, the one thing I would say is I've noticed in the last two games, realistically, I don't know if we start slow, but the other team, because even our first goal, the Jota goal, Burnley weren't really threatening us, but they had the better possession in the first 10, 15 minutes of that game. So I think what I'm noticing, maybe at times we're either starting a bit slow to get in the game, or maybe it's a case of we are allowing the other team to have possession of the ball, which could be the case as well. But so I did notice that in that. But obviously, Burnley weren't really hurting us in that when they did have the ball with it. So then we go to the first goal, the Tsimikas Jota combination is it looked good. It was unlucky against Norwich that didn't really really create anything then, but it looked good in pre-season, in there, and it looked good again yesterday. So that goal was great movement by Jota, and it was a great pass by Tsimikas, so he's got as good as crossing as Robbo for me, if I look at it, in terms of like his ability to pick a pass across.
Right, I'm going to say something that's quite controversial here, but I think his crossing ability is better than Robbo's. I think his actual crosses, Robbo's ability to put more in is better, but the ones that Tsimikas puts in are accurate. They are going to a certain spot, and it's where he wants them. It's going. He's a lot more clinical on that, and he's an absolute tyrant to watch. He's absolutely fantastic. But I just want to go off your comments about like Burnley having the more possession at the start of the game. Now,
I've got all the lights on. I've got all the lights on.
Turn them all off so that they don't turn off in the stream.
Got them all on.
You got them all on.
I got them all on.
With your back to the light, that's what it is. But yeah, just going off that, like Burnley having more possession, it seemed to me, it felt like we were letting them have that possession. It wasn't that, because you could see that it was dead easy for us to take it back off them. It was easy for them to just, retrieve the ball and then make a run. For me, it felt like we were testing them. Like, what are you going to play? Are you going to play defensive? Are you going to try and come at us? Are you going to try and wait for, for free kicks? Are you going to play for the foul type thing? And for me, it was a settling in period of just the lads trying to figure out what Burnley were going to do. But I wasn't worried because, like I said, they could literally take possession back in a heartbeat. So it wasn't a problem. Like, I wasn't bothered by it.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't think Burnley hurt us at all. So it wasn't. It's just what I noticed. I think what I'm saying is, my thing is, I don't think I'd want us to do that against Chelsea though. When you play them next weekend, but yeah, we'll go to Chelsea.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes of Chelsea are probably going to be really scrappy, and it'll take 20 minutes for the game to settle to figure out who's got possession. Like, I think for Chelsea, the first 20 minutes are going to be you got the ball, I got the ball, you got the ball, I got the ball. Very, some tackles that you're looking at going, oh my God. It's going to be a nervy 20 minutes, and then it'll settle and you'll find out who's got the best possession, who's got control of the game. But with Burnley, they're never going to be a team that are going to come and attack you. They're never going to pressure. So you need to let them have possession to see what kind of game they are going to play. So for me, it seemed like a clever tactic because they weren't going to hurt us in those 20 minutes while we were figuring out what they were doing.
Let's just see some of the comments here. Chris Welch was shocked to see Charlotte Elliott start, but he did well for the first game. Chris Welch got backup. Tsimikas is Robertson. Good. Hi, Alan. Good to see you. I did have all the lights on just to confirm again. It's just, I don't know why it's so dark in my room. NHS, good to see you, mate. Chris Welch, Tsimikas finally playing games, not cooking Greek food for the squad like he was last season. Alan, let you off then. We're home with saving electricity. Yeah, so I think what I want to just highlight again is like, I think is Jota's ability to continue scoring goals, find himself in the right position, making the right kind of runs. And the good thing about Jota is like he can score header goals, he can score his left foot, he can score his right foot, and that's what makes him so unpredictable in terms of defenders being able to mark him. And I think he makes runs that you said last on Friday that other people don't make, in terms of going through the middle, making a run through the middle or to the flanks and stuff. So other people don't make those kind of runs. So it gives us a different option. And, and obviously when you have someone who's like Tsimikas who can cross the ball as good as he does, it is a challenge for other teams to stop that. Moving on, the offside goal by Salah, so unlucky for Hartley not to get his first assist because, that was a great pass.
If that had been onside, you should. I mean, I know you hear it on the telly, but it compares to nothing when you're all on your feet screaming because Salah just scored a goal and he runs past where we were sat celebrating, and then it was offside, and we were all going, "Why the fuck is it?" Because where we were, and none of it didn't look offside because obviously when you look at it, you can't see that by your naked eye. Like when you're watching a match, you can't see that his arm, top of his arm's offside, and we're all sat there with no fucking internet going, why is it offside? Why is it not? Because you don't see any of the process anymore. You just see VAR checking, decision, no goal. And we're all going, why is it offside? Why is it offside? So I actually text Doug and text Keith and was like, was that actually offside? It didn't look it. It didn't look it. Find out for me. Because it didn't look it. And it was just dead confusing in the ground, sat there being like, hang on a minute, what's the reason why? So, but if that had been onside, that would have been a fantastic goal. I feel like Harvey Elliott was robbed of a really good assist for that because it just wasn't fair.
But he's got like a good understanding of Salah in terms of like them linking up, understanding each other's movements, and like the common, like the bouncing off each other, which is good to see. It's promising.
Yeah, like Harvey Elliott's very forward driven, isn't he? He makes those runs, and I noticed that a lot of the time when Harvey Elliott's not there, for example, Salah's always at the corner making those runs and cutting into the box. Whereas it seemed like he didn't have to do that extra leg work because Harvey Elliott did all the leg work to cut into the box where Salah was waiting for him. So it took a lot of, it took a lot of the burden off Salah to do all that hard grafting, which is normally where he ends up losing the ball because he fights to keep it too long to get into the position he wants to be in. Whereas Harvey Elliott made that run for him. So he had more free time to think about his clinical, which he was a lot more clinical this game. And he was unfortunate in the end not to actually come away with a goal. But, I completely agree. Their link-up is really good. They have a really good understanding between each other of where the person's going to be. Their positional play is phenomenal with them.
Yeah, I think Chris says here, or Ravi says before Chris, Ravi says here, decent match, happy with the win and 2 clean sheets, very 100% Ravi. Chris said to start Elliott more often against small teams, which should be being perfect for him to gain more experience. That's a good shout there. That we could try him against. I'll be interested to see how he does away from home, because I think obviously at home is a bit different. Away from home would be interesting to see how he does.
I don't think it matters, being honest. I was talking to my mate about this on the way out, and I was like, Harvey Elliott, he's a Liverpool lad through and through. Like he eats, sleeps, breathes, dreams about the club. Like it's everything to him. So I don't think it matters to him whether he's in front of the cop or he's in front of the away fans and at away ground. I don't think it matters to him because he's playing for the live bird on his chest. He's just so proud and passionate about the club that I don't think it really matters to him where he plays. He could be playing it in County Park, Stanley Park. I don't think he'd be asked.
Yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't look like he's overawed by it at all by the occasion. And obviously he was fine home and away for Blackburn in the Championship. So, well, Ravi's got a question. Question for the panel. Elliott did look good. Is he good enough to play on the? Is that ref?
Is he good enough to play on the what?
What do you mean by ref, Ravi?
Yeah.
Do you mean that he's good enough to play regularly?
Yeah,
or do you mean
play on the reg.
Yeah, reg.
Yes.
I think he's good enough, but I think the thing is obviously the players ahead of him that are just much more ahead in the development than he is. That I would want to see start in because I think they have the experience ahead of Elliott. But yeah, he definitely is good enough to play more regular games week in, week out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said we can make regular. Yeah. So we both agree. Yeah, we're both saying he is good enough to start regularly.
Imagine what he's going to be like when he's 22.
Yeah, I just hope we manage the games and we don't end up with a Michael Owen thing where he plays too many games too quickly and against injuries.
No, Klopp's not like that. Klopp has never played a player before they're ready. Look at Fabinho, for example. Fabinho took 3 months before he was playing regular games. And he was bought as an established player. But he took the time to acclimate him into the team. And Harvey Elliott is an absolute wonder kid. And there's a reason we got him at 16 when we did. We loaned him out. And there's a reason we haven't loaned him out again. He's not even 18 yet. And we've refused to loan him. We've refused to sell him because we see something in him. Talent like that, he's one to watch for definite. Just imagine what he's going to be like in his prime. I can't wait to see him develop. I really can't. I do hope he gets more games, a lot more games. And I hope that he doesn't start against big teams. But if we're doing well in those games and we're holding a win, then I don't see why he shouldn't be coming on, 20 minutes here or there, 15 minutes or so to get experience against those bigger teams, because you can play him against the little teams all you want, but he's got to play against the big names as well, because he won't get any better if he doesn't go up against the better players, the world-class players, the pace merchants, the strong centre-backs. He doesn't go up against them. He's never going to learn, is he?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're going to the midfield overall. Although the midfield, there's been a different mixed reactions. Some people are saying, for example, Naby played poor again.
He didn't.
I argue with that yesterday. That's now Kate is doing what Klopp asked him to do. He's not asking him to do what he did at Leipzig. He's asking him to do what Ginny did in terms of breaking up play.
I'm so sorry, but look at
Charles, you're back. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you,
Charles.
mate. Yeah, good to see you. But yeah, so I think Kate is doing exactly what Ginny was doing in terms of his role, and that's what Klopp's asked him to do, because obviously I don't think right now Keita can play a more advanced role with Fabinho not there. Because I don't think Fabinho gives that extra protection for us to play that way. And I do think there were times where I think it feels sometimes a bit too open in terms of that position Burnley were having, which I'd rather not see. But I think that's understandable with the midfield combination we had. So I think overall the midfield was very good, but there were some people who had like a mixed reaction in terms of midfield. But I thought Henderson was phenomenal. In terms of his, I think there was a bit cameo where there was like, I think Mane had the ball, was tracking back with the ball. He had two players around him. He passes to Hendo. Hendo flicked over to Keita, and then Keita passed it back. And I was like,
yeah, that was good. It was like a triangle dink. It was
yeah. So that was like beautiful football. But I thought Henderson was amazing, and I think again we saw why where people are talking about naming their starting lineups, and some people having Henderson not the starting lineup. I think you see what Henderson brings: the leadership, the constant shouting, the organisation, setting the press, all that stuff. Like he's vital in our team going as a starting player. So I thought the midfield was overall very good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Henderson's the first name on the team sheet every single time. I don't care what you say. I love Virgil. I love Alisson. I love Mo. I love every one of our players. But he's the first one. If he's fit and he's able to play, he's in that midfield. But the midfield has always been a topic of debate amongst Liverpool fans. We had the Brexit midfield for years. The Genie Milner, Hendo midfield. Then we had the midfield where everyone wanted Fabinho, Naby, and Ox, and then everybody wanted this midfield, and someone wants this. And because we've got a lot, and we've discussed this before on here, we have a lot of midfield players. We've got a lot of forwards, like Harvey Elliott. He is a winger, he is a forward, but he's playing in a central midfielder role. So we've got a lot of players in that for three spaces. So there is going to be a lot of rotation. There is going to be a lot of change up, and that's what it should be. Because if I can go to a game and we see, the midfield that we saw yesterday, and then next week when we play Chelsea, it's a completely different midfield, and Thiago's there. You play the players that you need for that team, and you've got the option to do that now. And people are never going to be pleased, are they? They're always going to think that maybe this player would have had a better impact. Maybe this midfield would have been more balanced, because I think we're spoiled. We know our front three is always going to be pretty regular. We know our back four is always going to be the same thing all the time. The only topic of debate is that midfield, because no one's going to sit there and argue about the front three and say, actually it's going to be Origi and Shaq and, Bobby playing Ardy. It's going to be one of those four, three of those four, sorry. That midfield, the only place where people can have an argument about who's going to play, and they're always going to have different opinions. But I think they played really well, to be fair.
Yeah, I did. I think for how the combination was in terms of those three, they played well. Obviously, different. Maybe it would have been different, obviously, because if Fabinho had been there, he would have been there. So, but I think for what it was a good performance from all three. And I think we have to, Chris is saying here that he wants to send out Keita well done sticker for what he's doing, what he's told to Egypt vaccine. But yeah, we have to give credit to Keita. That's 2 games in a row. He's played up to 82 minutes. He's not been injured, and he's played well. And he's done what's been asked for him. So we can't criticize him. So fair play to him. Let's hope he keeps it up. and he can take that going on to the rest of the season. But moving on, so I want to talk about the Mane goal and how much of that was beautiful. Like the pass from Van Dijk to Elliott is sensational.
Can I think talk about how Elliott brought it down off his chest?
That's sensational as well.
Like a Van Dijk fucking diagonal ball, and he brings it down off his chest. That takes a lot of skill and a lot of confidence, because normally when they happen, Trent brings it down on his foot or his knee to give it more stability. He doesn't. No one tries to bring a Van Dijk ball because of the power behind him off his chest. Because if you bring it off your chest, 9 times out of 10, it's just going to bounce back off and you're going to lose possession. And the fact that he brought it down like that, the way he did, and kept running to the side at the same, that touch from him was real beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, it just showed his confidence. The fact that this is a kid playing with like freedom and confidence.
Yeah.
And then obviously the pass from Trent to Mane was sublime. You know. But apparently, I heard I think Trent assisted Mane the most out of a forward line. I saw a stat. Is the one? Yeah, that's a stat. So that the one player assisted the most is Mane. The combination between him and Mane.
I'd have argued it would have been Robbo who assisted Mane the most.
Yeah, I was surprised at that because I saw that this morning. Someone posted it saying that the forward assist the most is Mane. Apparently,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm shocked by that, to be fair. Like I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, that was a surprise as well because I thought it was Salah. But yeah,
I'd have argued that it would have been Salah, to be honest.
But then Mane, what do you think of Mane's performance overall? Because I saw some people saying that he had struggled before he scored that goal. That he looked frustrating, and I thought he worked hard. He might not have been Mane at his best, but he worked hard. He didn't give up. And he was doing his defensive side of the work as well.
Do you know what? He played a good game. As far as I'm concerned, he played a good game. He had a few chances. You know, there was that chance where he tried to bring it down really tight on goal and it ended up going over. But it's really hard to control that ball. So the chances he made that he obviously missed, there were valid reasons why he missed it. Like, they were difficult chances. He was trying really hard to get, probably a bit too hard. But I don't think his performance was bad at any point. You know, like, he was tracking back, he was defensive work, he was making the runs, he was doing what he was doing. It was just unfortunate that he wasn't always on the receiving end of the chances. You know, a lot more of the chances went Salah's way because obviously of Harvey Elliott. He was the one creating those plays and those runs. So they were obviously going to go more down, you know, the central way with Jota and with Salah than they were with Mane. So I think he played a good game, to be honest with you. I don't understand the criticism.
Yeah, I didn't understand either, but I saw some people were saying yesterday that they felt Mane should have been subbed off before he scored that goal, that should have brought Bobby on. And I was like, no, Mane's actually playing well. It's just that he's doing a lot of work off the ball. He's not, you know, and he's working hard.
Yeah.
And he deserved his goal. You know, that showed his persistence. So, you know, obviously him off the mark. Hopefully that, you know, he was good through pre-season, so hopefully he can build on that. You know, we know he loves a goal against Chelsea, so hopefully he can carry that on in the Chelsea game. A big stat I wanted to bring up is that was Van Dijk's 48th game at Anfield, and he's unbeaten without defeat. That's ridiculous.
But you know what? The thing with Virgil is not just an absolutely phenomenal defender. He's also a really good playmaker. Like, he creates so many chances for us with his long balls, and even when they're not successful long balls, they put us in an attacking position. They put the ball up, you know, the attacking half. So even when they fail, they don't really fail because it puts us in a better position, doesn't it? Oh, no! Oh my God, no way! Oh my God, yes, yeah! Oh no, it's been deleted. The tweet's been deleted.
Has he deleted it?
Yeah. Hang on.
No, because I see transfer talk of going on with it. Maybe.
Yeah, but he's put that up. That's been seen now.
Maybe he wasn't ready to put it up yet.
Yeah.
I hope there's something with
Paul Joyce has
Origi.
put it up. No, Paul Joyce has put it up as well. Liverpool
I,
agreed to a fee of 9.5 million with Leon for Jed and Shaqiri. Initial bid was around 4 million. Yep.
I hope that means also that with Origi, we'll go on to Origi actually in a minute. We'll get on to him in a minute. Before we yeah. But yeah, just going back to Van Dijk. That's great news.
Sorry, I
Doug
completely
highlighted
got
that.
off. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Hagelai. But yeah, I just think that Van Dijk is huge for us in terms of, like, as you're saying, his passing, his defending, winning the game. He's a Rolls Royce as a centre back, and like we're a complete different team with him in the team, and that's why I feel like, Van Dijk played against a physical Burnley side,
Yeah. And didn't look like he'd ever stepped away from football.
No, yeah. So I just want to highlight that, Burnley got physical lads up top. They love the battle. They were fouling all over the place and didn't look like you said, like he'd missed a beat. So just want to highlight how Van Dijk again. Also with Matip, like Matip again.
Yeah, that was just not to bring
Matip again. Like the man's been outstanding back-to-back games. He's making it difficult for Konate to get minutes and for Gomez to come back and get in the side because he's just been a colossus. Luckily, it's just been one game a week so far, but he's been outstanding. He hasn't put a foot wrong. And I think again, Matip loves his physical challenge. He doesn't shriek away from big battles like that. So, and I like to see, they are our best partnership for the time being, Van Dijk and Matip, and that's back-to-back clean sheets. So,
you know what? We can sit here and we can praise Virgil, but we all know that Virgil is an outstanding defender. We've got the best in historical football saying Virgil is the best. We've got a pundit saying Virgil is the best. And now people sleep on Matip a lot. But I think the last few performances of him have shown how brilliant a defender he is. Absolutely extraordinary in the air. He doesn't care. And for somebody, he's so tall, but he's so slight, he's so thin, but he's strong. And he doesn't give up. Like, he's proper tenacious about things. He doesn't give up on the ball. And, like, he'll go on those little runs through midfield, allowing midfield. Like, he's not afraid to play that high line because he knows he can make it back in time. And I completely agree with you. He is making it very difficult for Konate and for Gomez to get back on the side. And I always said that Gomez and Virgil was the best partnership we had. They were so in sync with each other because they've got an amazing friendship off the pitch as well. But I don't want Matip dropped. But like you said, we are only playing one game a week. Obviously, when the Champions League starts up and the FA Cup and all that starts again, we are going to have a heavier fixture list when we're playing midweek games. And maybe at that point, we need to start thinking of that rotation because if we play Matip midweek weekend, he is going to burn out. We know that. We know he's injury prone. So maybe it's a case of save Matip for those big games where you need an established connection and put Konate on when you just need a good solid centre back until they get that build up of a relationship. I don't know what the answer is, but it's nice to have that problem. I feel like that's my favourite saying at the minute. It's
good. It is good from what we had last season. It is good to know that we've got, we've been keeping them all fit. We've got a good bank of 4 quality centre backs there that we can rotate. That are all top class. That are all, that are all players you can count on. In a big match.
Yeah.
So just want to move on to Trent. Like, Trent is masterful. I'm just looking at some of the stats he had here: 7 key passes, 1 assist, and 2 tackles, and then he also had one interception. Like, this kid is just going better and better. Like, I think I saw a stat again. They said that since 2018. I think he's had like 33 assists. Only De Bruyne had more at 34. Trent's a right back. That's ridiculous that he's having more than, and then even shouts to say, is Trent, it's a bit early, but is Trent the best Premiership right back ever?
Don't say it. I'll kick you off this video. Don't you dare say what I know you're going to say. The answer's no, not yet, and not for a long time. You don't even think it up. No. Don't even bring it up. Don't even say the words. I know what's going to come out your mouth. And I'm telling you now, you bring that out your mouth, I'm going to kick you off this stream.
Okay, well, he's the best
Let's
right back in the
just
Premiership right
move on.
now. Best right back in the Premiership right now.
Yeah,
And he put a masterclass yesterday against Burnley, and he's getting better and better. I think, like Dave said, I think he has looked a bit. He's filled out a bit more over the summer in terms of muscles. So I think it's just, and also I think all the work he did with the coaches in the summer for set pieces and stuff has helped as well. So yeah, it's just looking like he's just picked off from last season. The injury didn't affect him in the summer, picked off from last season, and he's going up a level.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best, in the world. Like, he's absolutely a fantastic player. We know this. We've said this for years about Trent. And, I said this before on Ben's tweet. Someone, a Chelsea fan, had put, don't even put Reece James in the same conversation as Trent Alexander-Arnold because Reece James is miles clear of him. And I was like, and Ben was like, what? Can't you just get Trent's name out the mouth? Blah, blah. I was like, if you not notice that every time this debate comes round, it's literally always comparing to Trent. It's never comparing Reece James to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's never a comparison between other right backs. They're always compared to Trent. And the same goes for Virgil. They always compare their defenders to Virgil. And I'm just going to take it as, a compliment after this point now because, well, you think he's the standard to beat. So carry on comparing them to him because he's the one to beat. He's the one at the top of the name sheet. So that is absolutely fine by me. That is fine by me. You keep saying what you want to say about Trent, but he is absolutely phenomenal. But he didn't stand out for me. Obviously looking at his stats, he played a really good game. But my eyes went to Tsimikas.
Yeah.
Every attack, every defense, and there's that clip going around, isn't there?
Of him doing the pressing.
Gets fouled, falls over the ball, is on the floor, controlling it with his feet, stands up, and then nutmegs him and runs off. And I was like, the reaction out of us in the stadium was absolutely, oh my God, everyone was going mental screaming because he is like a gladiator. He didn't give up, and I was waiting for that, 70-minute mark for him to switch off. And he didn't this time. He proper saw it through until he went off with the shoulder in the end. But what do you make of Tsimikas?
He's our Greek warrior. We used to say, what do you call him? Who's that centre back we had?
Don't know what.
The centre back we had under Rodgers, that Greek one. I can't remember his name. We had a Greek player before on the Rodgers, centre back.
I don't know. I'll have to Google that because that's going to do me head in.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but we only had him for a season or something. But we got him a free transfer. I don't remember his name.
Oh, hang on.
But yeah, he was.
That's it. Yeah, I can't say his name now. I can't say his name.
Yeah, so he was.
I knew what you meant, but there's no way I'm saying that.
So he was that's it. Doug's got it right.
There was no way I was going to try and pronounce that. I was going to say, I know who you meant, but I couldn't say his name.
Thanks, Doug. That's it. Yeah. So he was like a Greek warrior, and I think Tsimikas is a Greek warrior for us because he's still obviously working up his fitness to be able to last longer. I think he tired out a bit as well. But what you're getting the best backup we can get for Robbo there is right now. Arguably some might say, does he keep Robbo out for a Chelsea game? Because I know Robbo good based on how good he's playing because he's been outstanding. He's not put foot wrong really, except for the 2 bits in the Norwich game. He didn't put foot wrong against Burnley and his energy, but then obviously it's Robbo. So it's a good dilemma to have for Klopp.
You know what? I said this, and I'm going to be really sad to see him drop for Robbo because obviously Robbo walks into that team. He's earned his place. He's not just suddenly. It's not that Kostas has replaced them because he's had poor performances. He replaced them because of injury. He had to necessity, but he's played so much better than everyone thought he would, and it's like a breath of fresh air. It's a nice change. It changes tactics because you don't quite know what Kostas is going to do yet. With Robbo, you know exactly how he's going to play the game. He's brilliant, but you know he's going to play the game a certain way. Costas, you haven't got that. You don't quite know. It's exciting, and I really enjoy seeing him play. But then equally, against Chelsea, do I want a left back who I know is tried and tested and is phenomenal against Chelsea, especially coming up against Lukaku? Do I want somebody who I know will be able to take him out, or do I want to go with the scrappy little left back that we need a little fighter?
Yeah.
What do I want to do?
Yeah, I'd go. I'd probably still go with Robbo, but it's basically like a tough one for Klopp to pick now, because to say, look, you've done well, Tsimikas, but I'm gonna have to put Robbo in the side. It doesn't mean you're not good, but it just means that it's Robbo.
Yeah. I just think, especially after seeing Lukaku today, like, I know he was playing Arsenal and Arsenal was Arsenal, but like, he made mincemeat of them. He was always in that box. He was always through on goal. He's gonna bang in so many goals because they put the ball in behind him and then he picks it up. And fantastic player Lukaku is, very strong, but he's got the pace to back it up. And I just think, I know Virgil and Matip will be able to handle him, but if they start coming down that left side, I think I'd rather go with strength and security over scrappy tenacity. But it's a good competition to have. It's healthy, isn't it? Like we've always said, you need to have a player as backup that's constantly nipping at your heels for your place.
Yeah, definitely. Just Alex it's good to have the competition, as you said, and he put in some good corners in. Yeah, he's a very good corner taker. So, that's positive. He's got that. So just again, it's another like clean sheet. I thought Alisson had a good game as well. Like, he made some good saves, and that call with him, Van Dijk and Matip is producing clean sheets. That's back to back. So I think like Dave said in the last show, that we're not going to concede many goals, and it might be the case where we can get away with 2-0 wins or 3-0 wins because we're not going to see that many goals. And I think we are kind of like, so maybe a right back, which is a bit obviously in terms of cover for Trent. We are comfortable. We're good now for defense wise, and there's enough there to be able to rotate and still put in top players in, and keep a clean sheet. Doug, we're going to do a collab soon, Doug. Don't worry, we'll get you on. We'll definitely get you on soon.
Well, if I hadn't been so rude as to go away, could have come on this one. But no, seriously, I hope you're having a nice time away. I hope you've enjoyed it, but not too much.
But yeah, so going back to the clean, it's another good clean sheet, which is good, which is what we need. It feels good to get back clean sheets.
Do you know what? Clean sheets are a bonus. 3 points counts more, and I know clean sheets obviously help towards the goal difference, but sometimes it can come down to your goal difference. It can be that tight. If you're on equal points or very close points, we'll talk about that comment in a minute, Doug. Goal difference makes a point then. But for me, it's all about those 3 points. Clean sheets are a bonus. There's something extra, like they're the cherry on top of the cake, and isn't it? Like it's that extra bit of something. But just going off Alisson, did you see that when the little fucking flick and turn he did?
Yeah.
And it reminded me, when Alisson first started for us?
Oh yeah, I think it was like Leicester.
It over him.
Yeah.
And was doing all these fancy tricks, and then one day it backfired and Klopp shouted at him, was like, I didn't like that, don't do that, be more, solid. When he did that, it brought back that first match where he flicked it and thinked it over him, and I was like, oh, that's filthy. I was like, Alisson, you're so bored. You're actually taking it to them yourself. And like, there was one part where Burnley were through on the counter, and Alisson came out, and he came too far out his box, so he couldn't catch it with his hands, brought it down his chest, and then ran basically like halfway through, our half before laying it off. And I was like, Alisson, you can't be doing this. You need to get back in your box, pack it in. But he was on fire. And I think him doing that highlights how much more comfortable he is knowing that he's got Virgil and Matip in front of him. And that's no disrespect to Nat Phillips and to Reece Williams, who played brilliantly for us last season. No disrespect to them whatsoever. But when you've got two colossal giants in front of you, he's feeling a bit more comfortable himself, which is obviously going to help with keeping clean sheets. So
yeah, definitely. Like as they say, they're saying like defenses wins you league titles. And it's good to have that solidness there where, the keeper feels confident and the defense is confident with the keeper, which is also key. So yeah, it's good to see the clean sheets. Hope we can get another one next week, this Saturday.
nice.
That would be ace as well. So going on, so just want to go on to some of the comments here that's been made as well. So Doug's obviously asked who's a bigger whiner between Barnes and this. I loved it when Barnes
scored
yeah, and then what a tosser! Like,
do you know what? He's giving it Billy Big Bollocks to the cop, and he's giving it all this, and all the fans and the cop are going, "Hey, yeah, like that at him." And then literally, as he turns around, the flag's up. He just goes, "Oh fuck!" He made himself look like a right tit. He made himself look like an ab, because then he had to run back because he fucking celebrated down to our end. I had to fucking run back, like it was head in his hands, like, "Oh fucking hell, what have I done that for?" But I think definitely Fernandez.
Yeah.
Fernandez sits on the floor. Like Ashley Barnes, like it doesn't go his way. He just kind of shrugs it off and gets on with it. Like he might have a little bit of a mouth on him, but that's the end of it. But Bruno will sit there and spit his dummy out the pram and throw his temper tantrum until he gets his own way. Like he'll stop a game just to have a temper tantrum rather than getting up and getting on with it. And it does me head in. Can't stand him.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely say I definitely think Fernandez is the bigger whiner. Like when he doesn't do nothing, he just dives and moans all day. The next one, Alan says Connor Bradley's a better backup for Trent than Nico Williams is. I haven't really seen much of Connor Bradley, so I don't really know that much about him, except for what I saw in the games he did in pre-season. I don't know. Like, do you feel that he's a better backup than Nico Williams?
That's hard to say, isn't it? Because like he is obviously a younger player. He's never played for us. We've only ever seen him in pre-season. You know, those odd little appearances for a couple of minutes. And I think it's unfair to judge him off a small amount of time and then compare him to Nico, who we have seen play a bit. And just because somebody has one or two good performances, for 90 minutes total, say for argument's sake, that doesn't necessarily make him better than Nico Williams, because you've got to look at longevity as well. He's not been tested. Nico Williams has been tested. Unfortunately, Nico Williams has also been found out. But when you've got the ceiling as high as Trent sets it, anything's going to seem subpar, isn't it? But you know what? Whatever Klopp decides when it comes up to backup is what he decides.
Yeah. And yeah, good that you enjoy your break, Doug. Chris Ross is brilliant all day. He's a Portuguese Tom Daly. Love your comments, Chris. You crack me up. So we added a new thing in this from going forward is we're going to do who impressed us and who left you wanting more. So who impressed you, Safe?
See, this was a difficult one because I can't pick between the two. I'm going to have to go for Costas, purely because I couldn't take my eyes off him. I couldn't stop watching him, and it was a toss-up between him and Harvey Elliott. It was really difficult to pick. Harvey Elliott was phenomenal, but I've seen Harvey Elliott be good before. It was a breath of fresh air watching Costas. He's definitely the one who stood out for me, definitely.
And who left you wanting more?
Oh, I'm probably going to catch a little bit of hate for this one. Salah. I say this not because Salah had a bad game, not because Salah didn't perform. The reason he left me wanting more is he put so much work in, so much effort, all these runs, and it didn't pay off for him. He didn't come away with a goal. He didn't come away with, anything really. And it was like that moment where you're just going, just 5 more minutes, and I think he'd have got something.
Do you reckon the record was weighing on him?
Sorry?
Do you reckon that record of 100 goals was weighing on him?
Nah, I don't think it was weighing on him at all. Nah. It was just... I'm not saying he left me wanting more because he wasn't good. I'm saying he left me wanting more because he was good. But he was so close to getting goals and so close to assists, and so he was like this far away, and I was like, But yeah, that Salah unfortunately left me wanting a little bit more out of him. What about you? What were yours?
Yeah, mine is, I'd agree. Simicus impressed me again. I thought he was outstanding, great performance, and looking forward to seeing more of him. What had me wanted more with Mane, because so even though Mane scored, I still feel that there's more to come from Mane. In a sense, when I think back to how it was 2 years ago when he was at his best, there's more to come from him. So I think until that goal, there's a part of me that felt that he was getting a bit frustrated, but I was glad when he scored. But I want to see more from Mane, because I think when Mane's at his best, he's unplayable. I think he's also got, in terms of, I saw a stat that showed for the most African top goal scorer, I think he's only off three off Salah.
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous when you think how good Salah is, and that Mane's not that many goals off Salah. So yeah, I wanted to see more from Mane. Alan says Henderson for me impressed him. Good, okay. Who left you wanting more, Alan? Alan says fair enough, Sophie. Hopefully Trent is fit for all season.
Yeah, I can't imagine Trent not being all fit all season. I think last season he was very unlucky, but as were all of our players, as were a lot of players in the Premier League. But Trent, historically, is very rarely been out. Very rarely, touch wood. Very rarely been out. Very rarely been injured. So I don't think, again, touch wood, I don't think we're going to see another season like last season anytime soon. But fingers crossed and all that. Fingers crossed he stays fit. Fingers crossed we all stay fit and we don't have a single problem or a single niggle more than, miss a game here, there, and everywhere with a knock for me.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to man of the match. Who's your man of the match?
Tsimikas.
Yeah.
I think that's a given, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think after the way I've spoken about him off the match.
I know Sky and that gave Trent my man of the match. But I'll just say Tsimikas as well. I think it was him man of the match. Alan says who left him wanting more? Keita, but he was sticking to instructions. Yeah, I think that's the thing with Keita. He's doing the Ginny role. So obviously the Ginny role sometimes didn't catch you because of he's doing lots of off the ball work, winning the ball back, keeping the play simple. But he's just doing what Klopp's asking him to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's a difficult thing because obviously people wanted to see Keita doing dribbles and wicked through balls, but I don't think you can see that Keita until Fabinho's back. Okay. And now we're going to move on to some trivia time.
Just collecting a few now.
So I've got one. So if you had to pick a boy band or girl band from the 90s that you have to be the backup singer for, who would you pick?
Oh, that's see, I thought that was going to be an easy question. Then I hadn't answered them yet, and then three other bands came to mind, and now I'm like, oh no. Do you know what? Oh my god, I can't pick! I'm gonna have to go for S Club 7. I'm gonna have to go for S Club 7. They were growing up in the 90s, they were them Steps and obviously the Spice Girls. Spice Girls seemed too bitchy. Wouldn't want to be in there. There was too much drama. Posh Spice was too posh. Sporty Spice was loud, and I'm loud, so that just wouldn't work. I've thought about this. No, I go for S Club 7 because they had
Chris Ryder is the garbage.
Well, you know what, Chris, you uncultured swine.
I think for me it was probably Blue.
Oh my god, I forgot they existed.
So it's one of them. Only because I met that Simon guy once, so I was like, yeah, I would have liked to have been there. I'd really put backup for them. So,
Oh my God, yeah, that'd be cool.
okay, what's yours?
Right, speaking of music, we seem to have a little bit of a theme here then. Would you rather be forced to listen to the same 10 songs on repeat for the rest of your life? Or would you rather have 5 movies on repeat for the rest of your life?
I'm more of a movies fan, so movies.
You could only watch, like, no TV shows, no nothing. The only thing you were allowed to watch is 5 movies for the rest of your life.
Oh, 5 movies. I'll listen to 10 music songs the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I'd still go for 5 movies. Because I've got the movies in mind. I'd happy to watch those over and over again. That's all I could have.
Oh, no.
They'd take me.
No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't be without me. No, no. I'd be going with the music, 10 songs, because let's be honest, I have really mixed music taste, and I will literally spam a playlist with the same like 15 or so songs on for like months, and then go, I'm bored now. So I could definitely do that. I could listen to 10 songs and no, nothing else. Just listen to those 10 songs on repeat for the rest of my life. Yeah, I'd go for music.
Chris watch movies all day long.
Oh, how could you watch the same 5 films forever? Oh, I'm not a big
Some of the classics. I could watch Pulp Fiction over and over again forever. It's classic.
You're gonna hate me.
You either haven't watched it, you don't like it. Which is it? You haven't seen it?
I think I've seen parts of it. I can't remember if I watched the whole film through. I don't know whether I got bored and turned it off, or whether I've watched it and I've just blanked the second half of the film from my memory. But I thought it was shite.
I'd kick you out for that, Sophie. I should kick you out.
I don't like Harry Potter. I don't like Lord of the Rings. I don't like Star Wars. I don't like Pulp Fiction. Let's add it to the list. I can't stand Fight Club either.
You didn't like it? God.
No! It's a stupid conception for a film. Ugh. It's shit. That's why I don't like films. I just don't like films. Star
Wars consistent brilliant. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Star Wars.
No.
I could watch Star Wars. No. Only the original ones, not the new remake ones.
Shite.
The original ones. I can watch them again.
A fucking spaceship around space going pew 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 pew. Nah.
Darth Vader. Who can't get? I can't enough.
Oh, he sounds like he needs a fucking lemsip.
Oh, I could watch Indiana Jones again. Those ones, the original ones, not the new ones. The original ones.
Not my type of film. I don't know. I'm more of like a slapstick comedy film person. Like, I'd rather watch Pineapple Express or Another Hood, or I'd rather watch them over. And like, Pineapple Express is hilarious. I don't care what you say, it's a hilarious film. I'd rather watch those stupid films, or American Pie. They're the type of stupid comedy films that I like to watch. I can't stand actual films to do me. I don't get bored. I lose interest. Right, last one.
Yeah.
Would you rather have 5 half-sized clones of yourself, or 1 fully-sized clone of yourself?
Half-sized or fully sized? So
you can have 5 clones of yourself, but they're half-size of you, or you can have 1 who is exactly like you, same height, everything.
I'll go for the 5 of me. If they're half-sized, they could be my little minions.
You were going to say then, weren't you? Like fucking Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, they're my little Oompa Loompas.
Like,
yeah, so I'd go for that. You?
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I think I'd go for the 5, because my thought process behind it was I can give them all a job. So, like, I can do the tall, like, adult, I'm going to say adult Sophie stuff. And then I can send 1 to take the dog out for a walk, 1 to, to hoover up, 1 to do what they can get little household chores.
Yeah.
So I can get them to do all of those type of things, and then I don't have to do the things that I don't like to do, and I can do what I want when I want. But yeah, I go for 5 mini me's. Imagine that. 5 mini me's. Oh my god. 1's bad enough. Anyway.
Chris Welch, exact clone of me, so I can clone still injury-free matches for Katie and give Katie the vaccine.
Right, actually, going off that, let's end on one then. If you could clone one Liverpool player, okay, for the rest of your life, you could clone them to keep them in the Prem. Which one would you clone? Yes, Alan, my 5 miniature me's can do the painting. That's a very good idea.
Clone. I'd go for Virgil.
Okay, I'm gonna be different.
Imagine 2 Virgils at centre back. Ridiculous.
Oh god, that'd be amazing. I'm gonna go for Fabinho then. Since you've picked Virgil, I'll go for Fabinho. Because we talk about how the imbalance in midfield when he's not there, he's pivotal. If you clone Virgil, I'll clone Fabinho. We'll be fine.
Perfect. Well, I hope we hit the nail on the head for me, Virgil. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I think
Chris.
we'd all pick Virgil, wouldn't we? To be honest.
Yeah. All right, so that's a good wrap to end on that. So it's been a pleasure, everyone. Everyone, we appreciate you joining us this Sunday evening for this post-match. Do hit that like, subscribe button if you haven't done, and do let your friends know about Youngster the Cop and get them to come on and be part of the channel so we can grow this and get it bigger and reach more people. We're going to be back next weekend for the Friday for Liverpool Chelsea post-match. Then I will be doing a watch-along for the Chelsea game. So if I'm going to be home, so I'm going to do one. And then we'll be back on the Sunday, ideally, for the post-match. So keep a lookout for all those. Otherwise, everyone have a great evening, and we will see you all soon. Do smash that like and subscribe button before you go.
Thanks, guys.